Some leaves fall. One stays. Can one leaf save a life?
To the west of Washington Square, there was a small village famous for its maze-like alleys, twisting, tangled, and endlessly confusing. It was a place where struggling artists and painters flocked in search of cheap rent. Anyone walking those winding paths soon found themselves lost, passing the same corner again and again. This strange little neighborhood was called Greenwich. The houses in Greenwich mostly faced north, their windows missing the sunlight. Under old gabled roofs, some still hiding forgotten attics, painters lived and worked, quietly chasing their art. Among them were Sue and Joanna, two young artists, who had found their way here from different places. They met by chance, over a meal shared at a crowded cafe. From food to fashion, even art, they found surprising things in common. That simple encounter grew into a bond, and they soon began sharing a studio, walking the same path as life companions. Just a few months later, as winter winds began to bite, pneumonia swept across the country. Greenwich was no exception. The illness crept through its maze-like alleys, like a shadow, looking for its next victim. It found Joanna. She lay in bed all day, too weak to sit up. Her only connection to the world was the small north-facing window beside her. Through it, she could see nothing but the blank brick wall of an old Dutch-style house. She stared at it for hours. Days passed the same way. One morning, after checking on Joanna, the doctor pulled Sue aside.
She has 1 chance in 10,
he said quietly.
And even that's being generous. She has no will to live. No medicine can help if the heart has given up.
Sue looked down.
She once said she wanted to paint the Bay of Naples.
The Bay of Naples? No, I mean something real. Like meeting someone, falling in love perhaps.
A man. She's never spoken of anything like that.
Well, that's the problem. If she's already waiting for the end, there's little I can do. What she needs isn't medicine. It's the will to live. To want to wear a beautiful dress. To fall in love. But right now, I'm afraid she has none of that.
After the doctor left, Sue bit down on a napkin to hold back tears. She cried hard. Silently, desperately, afraid Joanna might hear. When her tears had dried, she walked back into the room, humming as if nothing had happened. Joanna lay still, her back to the room. She stared at the cold window, like a statue. Sue sat nearby, and began sketching. She was working on an illustration for a magazine, a job she did not love, but needed to survive. As Sue quietly drew, Joanna's voice broke the silence.
12, 11, 10.
Sue paused. She looked up, puzzled.
Joanna, what are you counting?
9, 8.
Sue followed Joanna's gaze to the window. There was nothing out there. Just the empty backyard, and the rough brick wall beyond it.
What are you talking about?
She asked, gently.
What's getting faster? 6. 5. They're falling faster now,
Joanna whispered. A gust of wind blew, and then, Sue saw it. The last few shriveled leaves clinging to a vine, trembling on the cold brick wall. Joanna's eyes hadn't left them.
Joanna, please.
Sue said, voice trembling.
Tell me what this means.
There are 5 leaves left. No, 4 now. When the last one falls, I'll be gone too. I know it. The doctor didn't need to say it. I can feel it.
Joanna, don't say that. Why would you die?
Sue forced a smile.
The doctor said you'll be fine. He said you have a 99% chance of getting better.
She grabbed her coat.
I'll get you some soup. Then you'll feel better. After I finish this drawing, I'll even get your favorite wine.
But Joanna shook her head weakly.
Sue, don't bother with the wine or soup. I'll go when the last leaf falls. I've made peace with it.
Sue's heart hurt.
No, please, stop looking out that window. I'll close the curtain right now.
Look at those leaves.
Joanna said, her voice barely above a whisper.
They hold on with everything they have. But one by one, the wind takes them. That's how life is. No matter how hard you try, it's useless. I just want to let go now. I'm so tired. Sue. I have nothing left to fight with.
Sue gently stroked Joanna's hand.
Then try to sleep. Close your eyes and rest. Promise me. Don't look out the window while I'm gone. I need to visit Mr. Behrman. He's agreed to pose for my drawing. I'll be back soon.
Sue walked downstairs. Below their apartment lived Mr. Behrman. An old painter with a rough beard, a scratchy voice, and a dream that never came true. He had painted all his life, but had never created the masterpiece he always talked about. In the corner of his studio, sat a large, blank canvas left untouched for years. Around it, empty bottles, crumpled cigarette butts, and the old smell of paint and cheap wine. He was a stubborn old man. Rough with others, but very protective of Sue and Joanna. Even though others didn't believe in him, he always said one day he would paint his great work. And even if no one else believed it, he still did. Behrman smelled strongly of alcohol, as he sat in his studio. When Sue saw him, she immediately began to tell him about Joanna. Behrman reacted angrily.
What nonsense is this, saying that when the last leaf falls, she will die too? I've never heard anything so crazy.
His anger seemed endless.
Sue, how could you let Joanna say such things? If you heard her, you should have told her off. Why didn't you stop her?
Sue answered quietly.
Behrman, Joanna is sick, and her mind isn't clear anymore. She's too weak, that's why she says things like that. If you don't want to pose for me, it's okay.
Behrman's eyes lit up.
Don't talk like that. I'll keep my promise. Now let's go see Joanna.
The two of them went upstairs. Joanna was still facing the window, and the curtain was drawn. They quietly pulled back the curtain, and looked at the brick wall outside. Without saying anything, they exchanged worried glances, and silently closed the curtain again. That night, light snowflakes fell, and the wind blew through the streets, making a chilling sound. As it passed through the alleys, As the night went on, the wind only grew stronger, and Joanna couldn't sleep because of the strange noise. But she couldn't open the curtain, no matter how dark it was outside. She couldn't risk seeing what was there. The long, hard night passed, and when morning came, Joanna spoke.
Sue, please open the curtain. Let me see outside.
Sue paused for a moment, then quietly went to the window. She slowly pulled back the curtain. Even with the cold northern light, the world outside looked bright and full of life. The brick wall, too, was still in the light.
Ah, Sue.
A soft sigh escaped from Joanna.
Sue, come here, please. Come to me.
Sue hesitated, but couldn't stand looking at the brick wall. She opened the curtain, and turned away without realizing it.
Come on, Sue. Look at this.
Joanna called out. Sue walked over to her.
Look. There's still a leaf hanging on. How did it survive the storm and snow? It's amazing. But look. Am I seeing things, or is that leaf really still there?
Sue finally looked at the wall. The leaf, although faded, still clung to the brick, its colors yellow, red, and a bit of green swayed in the wind. Sue could hardly believe her eyes, but it was there.
Please, Sue. Bring me some soup. I think I can get up now. That little leaf survived, so I can survive too. Please, bring me the soup.
In the afternoon, the doctor came to see Joanna again. He spoke to Sue quietly but urgently.
The chances have improved. It's 50-50 now. With proper care, she can survive.
He quickly added.
But downstairs, Behrman collapsed last night. He has severe pneumonia. His chances are low. I must go and arrange his hospitalization.
The next morning, the doctor came back and said,
Joanna, you've made it. You've pulled through. Now, with the right care and nutrition, you'll get better.
Joanna, who had just survived a life-threatening illness, was sitting and knitting. Her face no longer looked empty or sad. Instead, she looked focused and determined to live. Sue walked over to her and spoke softly.
Joanna, Mr. Behrman passed away this morning from pneumonia. He died just 2 days after he got sick. His clothes, shoes, and hat were wet from the rain and snow. His body was cold. In his studio, a wet ladder was found on his painting palette. He had been painting with old green, yellow, brown, and red colors.
Sue paused and looked out the window. At the brick wall.
Joanna, look at that leaf outside. It's still hanging there. Holding on tightly.